Hannibal of Carthage faces a Roman army at the Battle of Trebia.
Arnie, charge.
Charge! Everything?
Yes.
Today, the battle will be re-fought by a studio team who will test their military skill and tactics against the great legionary army of Rome. This is a battle to the death. This is Time Commanders. With Eddie Mayer in our 21st Century Military Command Centre are an amateur dramatics group from Manchester.
Now, you're all together not because of the jobs you do. I've checked, and they're dull. Apart from yours, Robert. You work in women's underwear or something?
Not quite. Ladies' handbags, but I don't actually work in them. I sell them, so...
OK, but it's amateur dramatics that bring you together. Manchester?
Just south of, in Cheshire.
Oh, so sort of off Manchester Broadway?
Yes.
Among your ambition, Simon, is to sing in a big band like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Can you sing?
Yeah.
That's a
well,
start.
I think I can.
Rob, your ambition is to appear in a Shakespeare play in Stratford? On Avon?
Hopefully.
You've done Napoleonic reenactments all around Europe. What does that involve exactly?
Dressing up as a Napoleonic soldier and firing muskets at other Napoleonic soldiers and trying to kill them.
Aidan, your ambition to win the FA Cup and land on the moon?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantasist. And Rani, you've got a skill which could prove very useful here. What is it? I hope you think of the one I'm thinking of.
You might be talking about chess.
Chess?
Yeah.
You're a champion.
Well, I used to play chess rather a lot, and then once I did actually represent England.
What makes a successful chess player?
There's different types of chess players. I was a pretty kamikaze one, and I aimed everything straight for the king, because that was how you won the game. And then there was the sort of strategy people who sort of like to move things around and bore you to death. But I think a good chess player is someone who goes out and just blitzes their way through.
There are two gentlemen standing behind you who know everything there is to know about history. There they are. Have a look at them. Give them a wave. That's Arik and Mike.
Dr. Arik Nussbacher, Senior Lecturer in War Studies, Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. Mike Lowes, Specialist in Historical Weapons.
There's nothing they don't know about history. Ask them a question about history. Go on, anything you like. Dates, battle history.
Go on, Rob.
Battle of Agincourt, when was that?
25th of October, 1415.
You see?
That's pretty good.
All right.
Did you know the answer to that, Rob?
No.
Now I'm going to give you some clues about the battle you are going to fight from history. Grab hold of those clipboards because they're going to prove essential later. Take as many notes as you can during the next few minutes as you find out more about what lies ahead. You're going to be in charge of Hannibal fighting the Romans in the Battle of Trebia. Have a look.
The year is 218 BC. The place is the River Trebia in modern-day Italy. On one side, an army of the Roman Republic. On the other side, the North African Empire of Carthage, which dominates the Western Mediterranean. 40 years earlier, Rome had clashed with Carthage in the First Punic War. After 23 years of fighting, Carthage suffered a crushing defeat. But then a 27-year-old Carthaginian general rose to power and plotted his bloody revenge on Rome. His name was Hannibal. Hannibal's first move against Rome was to sack the Roman-held city of Saguntum, not far from modern-day Valencia. Rome was enraged. The Second Punic War had begun. Hannibal's strategy was to take the war to the enemy. In spring 218 BC, his army, including a few dozen war elephants, set out on an epic march across the Alps to invade Italy. During the treacherous 5-month-long march, Hannibal lost troops, supplies, and elephants. By the time his army entered Italy, it had been reduced to just 26,000 men. However, in Hannibal's first brief encounter with the Romans, he used his agile Numidian cavalry to ambush and outflank a small Roman force. Rome was alarmed by Hannibal's bold invasion and sent 2 legions to deal with him once and for all. The leader of this force was the Roman consul, Sempronius Longus. A Roman legion consisted of 5,000 men, including light and heavy infantry, with cavalry in support. A common Roman battle tactic was to march the almost unstoppable legions forward in an attempt to overwhelm the enemy with brute force. But this Roman army contained many new recruits, inexperienced in battle. In the winter of 218 BC, Longus and his reinforcements joined 2 other Roman legions on a wide plain in northern Italy. The river Trebia, which cuts through the plain, is freezing cold but fordable. The Roman commander Longus is an aggressive and arrogant leader. He values quick confrontations, and he's desperate to fight, knowing that victory at Trebia will bring him personal glory and wealth. And Longus has good reason for optimism. He has 40,000 infantry, 10,000 more than Hannibal. But the Roman cavalry is weak, tired, and reluctant to make detailed scouting expeditions, assuming that an ambush on the open plain is impossible. Hannibal is camped just a few miles away across the river Trebia. Hannibal's infantry, the survivors of the long Alpine crossing, are the best, toughest, and most loyal of all his soldiers. And his large elite cavalry is unparalleled. If the Roman army is victorious, Hannibal's dream of conquering Italy could be gone forever. If Hannibal wins, he will be able to threaten the Republic and even Rome itself. The stakes are high. Battle is imminent.
It's pretty, isn't it, in the snow? What did you learn there?
That their cavalry is weary. Our cavalry, I think, is the key. We've certainly got the better cavalry by a long, long way, and they've got new recruits in their army, so...
We've also got good, strong infantry as well.
We have, and they're Alpine survivors, and they're battle-seasoned.
All right, team, you now have 15 minutes to gather information and come up with a strategy. The battle could be won or lost from the decisions you make during this phase. So in the next 15 minutes, you have to become familiar with the terrain, get detailed information about your own army, and then the enemy army, and then decide your battle plan. So there's not much to it, and your 15 minutes start now.
Let's have a look at where this battle's going to be fought. Have a look at this. Okay, that's the lay of the land. What do you instantly get from that?
Big plain in the middle here, and there's a river to the north.
There's
The Trebia here, yep.
Yeah.
Certainly the plain is going to be important to use the cavalry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And keep the cavalry away from these woods and hills.
Yeah.
So far, Simon and Rob have both very quickly identified key features of this map and how they relate to the troops they have available.
Really? So it's fordable, but it's freezing cold.
Yes.
I think we should try and make the enemy come across it.
Yeah, let them come to us.
Which is an option, but then I think there'd be more use out on the plain.
You are already both acting like generals. How are you going to split it?
Rob and I are going to be the generals, and those guys are going to be the lieutenants.
Okay. And they hope that we do what they want us to do.
Yes, well, we're all acting on initiative.
Yeah.
So
You're not going to do as you're told, are you?
There'll be no mutiny.
The generals will have an extra tool at their disposal. Using the big screen, and Adam, our technician back here, you'll be able to have a look at every aspect of the battlefield, really get a view of where you are and what natural parts of the location you might be able to use to your advantage. Have a good scout round. Tell Adam where you would like to look.
Let's look at...
Come on, Napoleon.
Yeah, let's have a look at the river, please. Okay, so we're actually looking at their army.
Yeah, that's good.
So where are they going to ford the river?
That's a good question.
Can we zoom in on the enemy?
Have a good look at the whole area.
So where are we?
Can we go over to
see
the
our
right-hand
troops
side?
and higher up so we can get
Across to the right-hand side to see the river down there. Look at that bit there. Lake
So
Cliff.
Ronnie was taking a good close look
At the terrain.
at the terrain and at that fold of ground on the Carthaginian right flank.
This might be the moment you want to have a look at your troops as well. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
See where they are, yeah.
Yeah, well, that would be useful.
Now,
they are in comparison
your two
to the
lieutenants, you go down to the front
Right, yes.
and talk to the two technicians there. Each technician has control of a different part of your forces. Find out which bit you're going to be in charge of during the battle. Don't laugh, Ronnie, this is critical. Once you've gathered that information, send it back up to your two wise generals. Once you know everything you can know about your troops, go down and find out everything you can.
Where are we?
Rob and Simon, the more information you get from your lieutenants, you can plot it on the map here and continue to use the big screen if you think it's going to help you.
So you can show us where our troops are.
So we're on this rise here.
Yeah, so we
This
should.
rise.
Okay, that's good. That's useful.
I'm astonished that they're not going to use Ronnie as a general. What I would want Ronnie to do is do the big picture thinking. She's a tactical chess player. Did you hear her describe her chess playing?
Roman.
Skills. That's right. She's a Roman tactical chess player.
And just start putting your blocks out in relation to what you see.
As we see them.
Where's the elephants?
The elephants.
Just to give you a rough guide at this stage, you can move them, of course, later.
Yeah. Adam, can you pan around so that we're looking at the front lines from the view of the enemy?
Because there's like an upslope and a downslope, isn't it? He's got infantry on the front. And then infantry on the... There's like a slight backslope as the hill drops off.
Here. Are they all cavalry at the front? Can you go down to the front line and have a look at them and then move along it? That's all cavalry, isn't it? So they're kind of spread out a bit more, aren't they?
It's quite a dip.
Yeah.
A massive dip as it drops away to the river.
We want to bring them to us across the river first.
Oh, is this a dagger I see before me?
With its handle pointed toward my breast.
Do we need to know anything else? So what numbers
What
have
did
we got of each?
the Balearic slingers threw stones, he said.
Hannibal had about 2,000 Balearic slingers. That's a lot of people pitching some nasty little lead missiles.
We have to remind people that these slings are weapons. They are hurling a lead bullet that's shaped like a bullet and it will punch into flesh. The Greeks used to cast these lead bullets, and there's one that's been found that has an inscription on it in Greek, and it's saying, "Take that." It's a wonderful bit of military humour.
We've got Spanish infantry. What do they have? What they have? They've got swords.
You should get more intelligence from your lieutenants.
I was just
very
about to
shortly.
say, should we?
Do you want to call them back up?
Are you guys ready to give us some information?
The Balearic slingers.
Ron?
5 lots of long pikes.
Come on,
still
Ronnie, it's
talking?
not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Thank you.
Hannibal had a very complex army, a lot of very different types of troops, and it's quite very important that they can identify that these different troops can be used in different ways. They've got this fabulous cavalry, wonderful, strong, heavy cavalry, and these lightning crack troops, the Numidians. Get that out on their wings. Just the right troops in the right places.
We've got the cavalry all lined up, so we've got Spanish cavalry at either end.
Spanish cavalry here and here?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are the Numidians?
The Numidians are right in the middle.
All right. What have we got in the way of troops then?
Right.
Oh, me. Right. We have got 10 elephants.
Okay.
You've got Balearic slingers. Balearic slingers. You've got 1, 2, 3 lots of long pikes.
Okay.
And you've got some Spanish guards, which have got swords.
Where are they? There.
Is Hannibal one of these horses?
No.
He's a person.
Yeah, there were a few horses with him.
Let me introduce some key troops to you again. Jot down the information here. Let me know what you get from all of this. The first thing I'm going to show you is the Numidian cavalry. Here we go.
Numidian cavalry. Agile, tireless and fast. No armor. Armed with javelins with a range of 30 meters. Highly skilled in ambush.
They're skilled in ambush and they've got a javelin range of 30 meters. Okay.
So we have to use them very
sparingly.
Yeah, but they're shock troop.
But they're good.
Okay, here's another important piece of information that might help. Some extra facts about your elephants.
War elephants. Unfamiliar appearance terrifies the enemy. Liable to panic. Vulnerable to light infantry. Armed with towers containing archers. Highly effective charge.
Obviously, what's famous about Hannibal is the elephants, and they're very good at clamping down heavy infantry. They're much less good if they're allowed to get light infantry among them, because light infantry really can hurt an elephant. So elephants are good at protecting the flanks. Also, the Roman cavalry are very frightened of elephants. They haven't seen them, they haven't smelt them before. The smell of elephants terrifies the Roman horses.
What are you learning from this? That you can get 3 people in an elephant?
Yeah, and they might not cause actually a lot of damage to the enemy.
Shock tactics again.
What do you do if they panic?
Get out of the way.
Just let them
Get your so much else you can do.
Right, General.
Is it? The mahouts, the elephant drivers, all had a hammer and a big chisel.
Yeah, and they could just drive it through the brain if necessary.
To self-destruct their own elephants if they went amok.
Yeah.
One more hint to help you, the Spanish heavy cavalry. Let's have some detail on them.
Spanish cavalry, disciplined and battle-seasoned. Poor against the front line of infantry. Armed with sword and shield. Skilled in all types of terrain.
If you look, Hannibal's strength isn't it? In his cavalry, definitely. That's the strongest part of his army.
Okay.
Now, how does all that help you?
Not a lot.
On the contrary,
it tells us
Revising my opinion of you, Riley. Napoleon, take the lead.
It certainly tells that the elephant should be at the front of the army to when we approach the Romans, because they're going to cause panic. Maybe not to our side, but hopefully to their side.
Yeah.
And the cavalry will be extremely useful in destroying the legions.
The team has realized that if they're going to fight on this big open space, they are going to have to make good use of their cavalry. And they're absolutely right.
The team has found out about their own soldiers. Now they need to know about the Romans. It's essential for them to discover the strength of the enemy army if they want to devise a proper battle plan.
One of our lieutenants, you can choose which one. Go down to our techie on the left, and he will give you a good look at the enemy.
The Romans' biggest weakness, perhaps, is the fact that their senior officers are not long-serving soldiers. The top men in a Roman army are politicians who have short service. They end up having crap senior leadership. So you see really good low-level work. The soldiers are all able to get the job done on their own little corner of the battlefield.
But in this corner of the command center, Aidan ignores his orders to scout the enemy troops and instead spends valuable time studying the landscape.
So it's quite undulated, quite hilly, isn't it? And there's trees, so good for ambush. Yes, with the height and the tree cover as well. So there's a long line of trees here, isn't there? It's a big filtering them in, so they won't come through the trees, I wouldn't have thought. So the river narrows at one point there, doesn't it? So that's where they're going to cross, the narrowest point.
Meanwhile, the generals decide to gather their own intelligence, using the large screen to examine the Roman line.
Can we have a look at the Roman cavalry?
Yeah.
Let's look at those first. Where
Their
are they?
front line. Right, their front line's cavalry.
The Roman cavalry is crap. The Roman horsemen themselves are not well trained. They're not motivated. It is socially difficult and economically difficult to put together good cavalry in Rome.
If it's because at this stage people are having to provide their own kit and equipment. So it's the young sons of the aristocrats who can afford the horses and come, and they're not great warriors.
And not only that, the young sons of the aristocrats don't want to fight on horseback. They want to win glory on foot with the legions.
Aidan?
What are these?
2 minutes to curtain.
2
You don't
minutes. have long. 2 minutes. Right, so do I need to get a list of armies? Yeah. Yeah, of what they've got. Yeah, that would be good from the right.
They've got a couple of less dense ones over here, but
Have you got some more horses right on that side?
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. Can we have a look? Is there
Right
a
on the far
cavalry unit
side
over
of-
there?
There is indeed.
There is,
Right,
Rob.
see.
Back one of them over.
2 lots.
Yeah. 2 lots side by side, Rob.
Very small.
That's it.
Rome at this stage has got an army that's a conscript army. From the age of 17 to 46, Roman citizens had to do national service, whether they wanted to or not. And this is a relatively green Roman army.
What we need to do now is find out
there.
troop strengths from Aid.
Okay.
Chop
Come on,
troops.
Aidan. We don't need all the names. Can we come back with the information? Aidan's going to come back and impart everything he's learned.
Tell us what we got, mate.
I think you've worked out what we've got.
So
Tell us.
what's light and what's heavy?
We've got light cavalry here, so presumably, the scouting party didn't get far enough in the time that we had to find out what this cavalry over here is, but that is over there.
Aidan may have failed to get much detail about the enemy troops, but his landscape recce could have tactical value.
We did find some of the terrain was interesting. We've got a mountain somewhere around here, and they've got a cross at a certain point where it's shallow, and it's a good tree line. We need to use our spear chuckers down here in the trees for ambush, the ones who are experts.
Excellent news. They're using the word ambush. This is, in fact, what Hannibal did. The night before, he deployed 1,000 of his crack Numidian cavalry and 1,000 hand-picked infantry, and he did lay an ambush in an old watercourse. So they're really getting quite close to what Hannibal did.
Tell me what it is then.
In the final minutes of their intelligence gathering, the generals must absorb all the information and decide how they're going to fight the battle.
What we should do is we should put half the cavalry down here.
And some
then
over here
half
on the
the
high
cavalry
ground.
on here.
Because this is the plane.
We will send a third of the cavalry there, a third of the cavalry to meet them, the rest of the cavalry is going to go over there.
The Numidians are agile, fast, with no armour, and they're good for ambush.
Well,
so what I would suggest is the Numidians on either side, then, because they've got to come around the back.
So
whatever that goes over there.
Okay, we need some cavalry in the middle. I would suggest the heavier Spanish cavalry.
You move the
clock
whole
is
of,
ticking, you
whole
don't
of the
have long.
army forward, and you have the centre fairly weak, the flanks fairly strong.
Yes.
And just move forward to actually bring them on.
Okay.
They have got the essence of Hannibal's plan. I suspect the detail of it is not going to be quite so good and may fail, but they have got the essence of what they need to do.
All right, that's it. Your 15 minutes are up.
Just explain what you're going to do. You're going to wait till they come to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And then...
We'll crush them.
Is this a Napoleonic battle plan?
I think so, because he's trying to draw them in, and then he will pincer movement on them.
Well, good luck.
Break
You've
leg.
explained your plan to me,
have we? Can you tell us what it is?
and I can't wait to see what happens. So once battle starts, general's back here, you're entirely in control. Use Adam, use the screen, use this to plot what's going on. Watch everything like a hawk. Give your lieutenants orders. They won't act unless you tell them. Lieutenants, get ready to go to your positions and deploy your troops. On you go.
Great.
The team's plan is to encircle the Romans in a pincer movement. They'll send half of their cavalry to set an ambush on one side of the battlefield by the large rock. The rest of their cavalry will be hidden on the opposite side. If both cavalry units can be coordinated effectively, the team has a good chance of surrounding the Romans.
I'm fairly confident that this team could pull it off today.
Well, they've got a concept of operations sorted out.
Yes, they have.
But will they have the command relationships?
We want to send one of the Numidians and one of the Gallic troops to each side of the plain. Walking, please.
The key to the team's plan is to lure the Romans across the ice-cold river and into the Carthaginian cavalry ambush.
But in order to destroy the Roman army, he's got to get the Roman army to come and fight him on the ground of Hannibal's own choosing. So our team has got to get those Romans coming across the river. And the Romans know that they like to fight. They're good at fighting on a big, flat field. And that big, flat field across the river is like a red rag to a bull to the Romans. So as soon as you shake these guys out of bed in the morning, the Romans are going to march across that field and get ready to fight the Carthaginians. It sounds stupid, but that's the way the Romans fight. They play to their strengths in a steady, solid way.
The scout unit I want to send across the ford.
Across the ford now?
Yes, with insults. Right. Get them to shout nasty things and draw them across.
The team is hoping their scouts will be able to draw the Romans into battle, but an enemy unit has already forded the river and is waiting for them.
We've got an enemy unit at the ford.
Have we?
On our side, yes.
The scout group's not to engage the enemy yet. If the enemy comes over, draw them back.
The team recalls their scout troop, but will that brief standoff be enough to draw the Romans to battle? As the Carthaginian infantry and elephants start to deploy in the center, the cavalry move towards their positions on both sides of the battlefield, ready for their double ambush.
Can we zoom back and see what the enemy's doing at the ford, please?
The Roman army has taken the bait and is on the move.
See, he's coming across.
Both leaders have very strong personal motivations. Longus, he's in the 11th month of his 12-month tenure as consul. He needs this battle if he's to be remembered with fame and glory. Hannibal has grown up with a hatred of Rome. Hatred of Rome was nurtured in him as a boy because of the humiliation that Carthage received in the First Punic War. And it's said that his father made Hannibal swear as a child never to be a friend to Rome.
As the legions move towards the battlefield, the team have not yet completed their troop deployment. Outnumbered and on enemy soil, they have little room for error.
It's critically important before the enemy arrive that you get your troops into the position you want them to be and use this time now to do that. Don't hang
Ron,
around.
how are we doing with the troops?
They're going forward.
There's
Ronnie?
our cavalry moving there. Can you see it? We've got the two sets of cavalry going by the rock, but we've got cavalry going to the other side, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
You mean this side?
Yes, that
Yes.
side. Where do you want it hiding?
On the slope, just behind those trees on this side.
On the slope, just behind the trees. So
those trees up on the top corner.
Yep.
on the top, yeah.
Let's see what the troops are doing at the ford. Can we go and have a look at the ford?
Because Hannibal didn't have this.
Hannibal didn't have what? Oh no, what we've got. They're almost across.
They're sloshing through the river. You're estimating chest deep.
I think something like that. The river's in spate, isn't it?
So it's cold, it's unpleasant, but it's something that a Roman army can do. They can cross a river, they have a procedure for it, they're able to do it in an orderly fashion.
With the Romans ready in battle formation, the team are still fine-tuning their ambush.
Aid, see the cavalry's moving up towards the rock.
Yeah.
Get them to go behind the trees, but not behind the rock.
Okay.
So all they have to do is ride through the trees rather than around the rock. We're going to have to start moving some of these.
Yeah, let's bring his stuff across.
Right.
The cavalry's come across that side, hasn't it?
Look at that line
The first
there.
action should be is to destroy that cavalry.
Right, let's get these over here.
Aidan, can you push the Spanish cavalry to the Numidians on that right-hand side?
All of it?
Yes.
Believing that all the Roman cavalry is concentrated on one side, the generals have made their first change to their battle plan. They've decided to reinforce their right-hand ambush with their Spanish cavalry. It's a bold move, but the team are counting on the surprise attack being decisive.
Look what they've done here. In this little fold in the ground, just where Mago might have laid his ambush,
Absolutely. Hannibal's younger brother.
our team, our Carthaginians, have laid an ambush.
Yeah. Perfect.
They're screened by the ground, so they have high ground between them and the Romans, trees between them and the Romans.
They've done absolutely the right thing.
And let's see who they are. They look like those Numidian light cavalry.
Which is perfect. That's exactly what Mago had. He had 1,000 Numidian light cavalry. Absolutely perfect.
They've done it spot
Textbook.
on.
Textbook.
So we need to take the rest of the battle line forward. Rani, can you take the majority of the troops forward?
You want to move them forward?
Move everything, start to move forward.
Just move them forward. With the elephants?
The whole line, yes.
Yeah. Just moving forward slowly?
Yeah.
He wants them moving forwards now.
We just want them walking gently.
How far do you want to go?
Yeah, well,
just
keep on walking.
You keep an eye on where we're up to.
Yeah, don't worry, we're looking
You can
here.
too, Rani, on the giant screen in front of you. Look.
That's what we're doing at the moment. That's what you're doing.
You're deploying the troops here.
You've got one lieutenant who's functioning as the cavalry commander, and one lieutenant who is functioning as the infantry commander.
That's exactly how this should be done.
And one result is that we're seeing the infantry and the cavalry concentrated and used with decision and used with celerity, as opposed to being squished around and spread around the field like peanut butter.
Absolutely.
With the team's cavalry units finally deployed and concealed on both flanks, the Roman military machine moves forward.
These, I think, is probably the Balearic slingers and the light spearmen. They should be out front. But otherwise, it's pretty close to what Hannibal actually did.
What do you want to do with the scout party? Do you want them to attack as well and get slaughtered?
The scout party can join in with the attack.
Yes. They do die very easily, I've been told.
That's okay.
As the Roman legions approach the battlefield, they close the distance between themselves and Hannibal's army. But they're still too far away to engage.
We can see the Romans advancing over some rough ground. And the Romans deliberately didn't put their army in one block. It wasn't a homogeneous mass. They broke it up into a checkerboard. So you'd have a square of soldiers, then you'd have an empty square, and then another square of soldiers. And that meant that as the square of soldiers has to move a little bit to compensate for bumps in the ground or a stream bed, the other squares of men are not pushed out of the way. And the careful ordering of Roman heavy infantry is one of the reasons it can keep on going across rough terrain, and why it can keep on going even when you're trying to kill them.
As the Roman army nears the ambush site, the generals have to make their first critical decision: when and how to spring the ambush.
Can we move the Numidians forward now to attack?
Yeah, can we move the Numidians
attack
to
that cavalry on the right flank, Aid.
On the right flank?
Yeah.
On the right flank.
We're coming down the slope through that scrub onto those cavalry.
Just the Numidians, or do you want the Gallic as well?
Yes, the Numidians and the Gallic, please.
Everything.
Bring him down. Bring him down and attack him.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh, look.
Rob, do you want the Spanish to attack?
Yes,
as well?
yes, let's get them in.
You know, they're coming over the edge now.
Okay, great.
Is this what you wanted up here?
Yes.
Now the Spanish reinforcement cavalry is also thrown into the assault.
And do you want to attack from the other side as well?
No, hold those on, please.
Right, let's zoom out a bit and see how we're doing. We're going to get rid of all their cavalry, which is what we want to do.
The Carthaginians have sprung their ambush a little bit early, but you can see that it's forcing the Romans to deploy.
Yeah. It's having some considerable effect, because it has taken them from the side.
So if we want to get rid of all their cavalry, do you not want to attack from the other side?
That is all their cavalry.
That is all the cavalry.
Is that all the
Yeah, that's
Yes,
it.
I'm telling you.
Is that all the cavalry?
Yes.
Are you sure there's nothing on the other side?
The generals have made their first error. They have attacked only half of the Roman cavalry. The other half remains intact on the opposite side of the battlefield. They now need to make the most of the right-hand ambush and deal with the rest of the Roman cavalry later.
The Romans have fixed the Carthaginian ambush, And look what the rest of the Roman line is doing.
It's going on. It's doing what Rome does. It's carrying on.
That's right.
Can you bring the other cavalry out now as well, please?
Right, so put from the other side?
Yes, from the other
So
side.
can we attack from the other side as well, please?
Ronnie?
Plan.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what are you going to do next?
We need to start looking at troop movements at the front here. Adam, can we zoom out and have a look at where our troops are in relation to theirs as they come through the middle onto the plain? Keep bringing it round.
Oh,
We're going to have cavalry left over that are going to come round behind them.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, and zoom out so we can see where we are.
Is that the other cavalry?
Well, the cavalry was positioned a bit far away.
It was too far away.
Yeah.
So we
But it's
made a
coming in
mistake
now.
there.
It'll be tired, though.
Yeah, they're running.
Well, yeah, I should imagine so. They're trying to attack, aren't they?
You're going to split the troops. Ours are down here, aren't they?
Why are our troops so far?
And aren't those horses are all attacking too soon?
Well, we need the troops. We need. Okay, I think we maybe attacked a bit too early there, right?
We've now engaged both sets of cavalry.
Good.
But you haven't got any
But we
infantry.
haven't got any infantry or elephants or anything.
Right.
That's fine.
I think we
that's
should.
fine.
I think we should
Can we draw the cavalry off now, please?
draw the cavalry
Can we
off.
withdraw?
Bring the right-hand cavalry back and keep pace with the Roman troops.
Keep pace with the Romans.
We don't want to engage anyone else now.
It sounds to me like Ronnie and the team have realised that they tripped their ambush a little bit too early.
Yeah. Good feedback and acknowledged by the general, and now they're moving on. They're not getting into recrimination about it.
That's right.
So the teamwork's going well.
After inflicting significant losses on the Romans, the Carthaginians withdraw, watched by an entire troop of Roman cavalry. Have the generals made another tactical mistake?
Follow the...
Of those are your percentage losses.
Just keeping
Do you
pace
still
with their
want us
flanks.
to continue moving forwards?
Yes, yes. Keep on taking the front line forward,
And you want
please.
to keep the cavalry pace with the back Roman legions.
Yes, we want to sweep in behind them if we can.
When?
When?
Yes.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because we want to bring the infantry up.
Believing they have total cavalry superiority, the team now focus on the infantry battle in the centre of the field.
Let's move some of these forward. Right. I would say a great deal of their cavalry has been lost. We're bringing ours back here. They had some troops here which are about there. Can't see what's happening on the left-hand side, Rob.
There's troops on this side. There's a large mass.
We're going to have to start doing stuff with that cavalry soon. I'll bring it
Okay,
back.
do stuff.
A group of our cavalry has just run away.
What?
The Spanish. Yes. They've just run away. They don't like you anymore, Rob.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Oh, that's good to know.
What are they?
The Carthaginian Spanish cavalry have just been routed. And I think that was an error on Aidan's part as a lieutenant. He was reluctant to obey the recall that Simon gave, and he left them down there, and they've now been routed. And of course, they can't afford to lose cavalry because they are key to Hannibal winning this.
Elephants forward, please.
Send in the
There's nothing we can do
What do you
about
want
that, is
them to
there?
go forward, just charging, or
Yes.
charge forwards?
Yes, please.
Charge forwards.
At last, the team deploy one of their key troops, the Carthaginian war elephants.
Do you not want the elephants to be stamping on people?
Fine.
That's fine.
The team's elephants have charged into some Roman heavy infantry, the unit least able to deal with them.
They've sent the wrong troops against the elephants.
That's right, they've sent their
heavy infantry. They've only got a short sword. Elephants are great against massed, tightly packed heavy infantry, because they can stomp on you and get trapped onto your shoulder and you get stomped on. But the velites can dodge, and with their long spears, and it was done, they can jab up and get the elephants just right underneath the tail, in the most tender part of the elephant, under the tail, turn them, and they can stampede back through their own men.
Take all the infantry forward.
All the infantry forward and engage the troops nearest you. Okay, let's zoom out.
Are you bringing the rest of the troops forward, Rani?
All infantry are engaged.
Good.
And,
all our troops are engaged?
All engaging.
The heavy Iberian infantry have a spear, but they also have a weapon called a saunion. And a saunion is a long iron javelin, which is purely iron. It's very thin, so it's very heavy, so it doesn't have great range. But at close quarters, by golly, it can punch through a shield and get through to the man.
How far can they throw?
Oh, who knows? But probably not more than 20 yards at the most, I would think, because it's a heavy, close-range throwing weapon.
But if you're coming up against an enemy who will refuse to come within range of your short, heavy Spanish sword, you just chuck one of these at him.
Absolutely.
With fairly evenly matched fighting going on all over the battlefield, the team suddenly spot Roman legions moving up on the left.
We need stuff happening on the left here. Move the elephants to the left. Our troops have got a charge here.
Okay, let's charge them.
Arnie, charge.
Charge. All everything?
Yes.
You happy with those losses?
Any cavalry that's...
Well, they're about the same at the moment, but the problem is we've got less troops than they have.
The bars come up, and the Romans, as a percentage, have lost more, but it's probably fairly even at this stage.
Can we zoom out a bit, please, so we can see what's going on the whole? No, give us an overview.
It's organised chaos.
But that's a
It's the
battle.
only way to fight.
Okay.
See the cavalry here on the left-hand side?
Look at the screen, see the cavalry?
They've got cavalry left.
Where?
It's at the back left as we look at it, I think.
Right, I think we should send that. We've got to have cavalry. Well,
No, yeah, you're right. To send the cavalry away and kill off the rest of the Roman cavalry.
yeah.
Yes.
I think we should do that, because otherwise they're going to use them.
Okay, group the cavalry together and send them walking around to the back of the army, the Roman army.
Yeah.
What we want to try and do, the ultimate aim is to have our cavalry engage their cavalry. If you have to go round the left-hand side to do it, if you can get on the high ground, perfect. But come down on them and keep them busy.
Right, so can we do that? Can we circle around the army with all the cavalry and engage their cavalry at the back?
If the team can polish off the last of the Roman horse, they'll have cavalry superiority, allowing them to concentrate on the pockets of Roman infantry.
You see that the Roman infantry is broken up into pieces scattered all over the field.
It is, absolutely. It's all over the place. And Rome should fight as a cohesive force, but actually the way they laid the Carthaginian army out induced it to scatter.
That's right. The Romans had to go too far. They were broken up into a lot. And
This is a credit to the team's tactics.
it really is.
Okay, Ron.
Yeah. What are the elephants doing, Rani?
They're basically just charging around at the moment.
That's fine.
As long as they're
Into
charging
groups.
at the enemy, that's fine.
That's cool.
Keep them busy. We want to engage
I was wondering
these.
whether you could get them to try and force a group onto the spearmen
Yes.
trying to go round the back.
If you can do that, do it.
What I hear Ronnie trying to do is trying to force the Romans to play their own game. Force the Romans to
That's
fight.
the chess player talking.
That's right.
Induce the opponent to do something. And that is tactics.
You're absolutely right.
Is the cavalry here on the left-hand side, the Roman cavalry?
Yes, it is.
Aiden, the Roman cavalry is coming around the outside. Where is our cavalry at the moment?
It's going
on its
the
way to
outside.
meet them.
Good. Are you sending it around to meet those
Yes.
cavalry?
Can we engage their cavalry? Yes. Yes, we're engaging.
Good.
For the second time in the battle, there's a major cavalry charge, this time on the left flank.
You can really see these lieutenants getting on with their job.
Yeah. No, they've got their command structure right.
That's right.
The planning's right.
They're focused on what they're doing rather than on shouting back and forth.
And the generals have split responsibility as well. Generally, Simon's working with Rani, and generally, Rob is working with Aidan.
Which is like having a commander for the right wing and the left wing of an army.
The enemy cavalry is now running away.
Good.
After a fast and fierce encounter, the Carthaginian cavalry finally achieve their objective. The Roman cavalry has been chased from the field.
Ronnie, these spearmen here, get them straight into the enemy, right in front of them.
Straight the enemy in front.
The Romans still have some uncommitted heavy foot, and that is going to be a factor. Because
But I don't fancy their chances against these guys.
against the Libyan pike.
I mean, these are seriously hard troops.
Zoom out a bit and pan
We've still
right.
got Romans over here.
Yeah, I know. Right, what do you want to do with the cavalry?
Can we go to where the cavalry is, please, on the screen, Adam? Okay, we want to attack this column here.
Right,
Attack the
charge.
2 columns.
Yes,
charge into
the
those
2
columns.
please.
Charge. And we can see the charge going in.
And they're really turning it now. They have significant numerical superiority now.
You're well ahead in terms of numbers, aren't you, Nick?
Yeah, we need to be ahead in numbers because they've got far
a
more
lot more
troops.
infantry.
Very good, very good. Coming in from the side, coming in from the side.
Coming and taking the...
That's it, not getting hung up.
You see the formation that they're in, they've all got their spears out.
Right, okay, don't attack that far column. Draw
Okay.
back from them, we're going to lose if we do that.
Wonderful.
He's using his cavalry.
Hit and run. Cavalry have mobility. If you lose their mobility, you might as well lose them.
That's right, they might as well leave him at home.
Okay, keep on sending the cavalry forward, please.
Okay, keep setting. Right, we'll attack this.
Right, pursue them, but be careful. Do a cautious pursuit. What we don't want to do is lose it now.
The team may have won the cavalry battle, but they're still outnumbered by the Roman infantry. In the centre of the battlefield, there's fierce resistance from the Roman triarii, the experienced heavy foot soldiers of the legion. But the generals still have 2 infantry units in reserve. Knowing exactly when and how to deploy them will be critical to the outcome.
Look who's left there. All that's left are the triarii.
Yeah. The triarii, the old Roman expression, the last hope lies in the triarii.
That's right.
They are the veterans.
We were going to attack another group. What are
All
these?
your troops engage the enemy wherever they are.
Engage, yeah.
Do it.
Send these troops here forward and those spearmen forward as well, Rani, in front of you.
Yeah.
Please.
Send them all forward.
They're committing their tactical reserve at a
Absolutely.
key moment in the battle.
Which is the key to tactical reserves.
is the key
This is the time
the
to
key
do
to
it.
all
Seal
tactics.
it. Finish it.
Is that our cavalry at the back there or theirs?
Yeah, it's...
Ours is moving this way.
They haven't got any cavalry left.
Not quite, but will be soon.
They haven't got any cavalry left.
Okay, well,
Right,
let's
okay,
send
we
the
have
rest
to
of the
engage the
cavalry
troops.
forward, please.
The aim is to encircle the Romans.
Here we go, we're going in.
Is
Right.
that us as well?
We got any reserves left?
Yeah, we've got...
If we've got them, bring them up. Bring
Yeah,
in
please.
everything.
Bring them in.
Everything.
Throw it all in.
Get it in.
Whatever it is, charge it.
In a final effort to finish off Rome, the generals muster the last of their reserves for a brutal infantry charge.
I've got some enemy running away here.
Good.
Yeah, keep it going.
Press the advantage.
The Romans are being massacred.
Oh, yeah. This team is doing a much better job than Hannibal did.
With the Carthaginian infantry now dominating the battlefield, even the Roman general Longus is under attack and fighting for his life. Facing a slaughter on the field, the remaining Roman infantry flee the battle.
Victory
Right.
imminent.
Yes.
Get in there.
Send in the rest of the cavalry again, please.
Victory imminent. Victory imminent.
Cavalry in again.
Victory imminent.
You are
victorious. You are victorious. You are victorious.
We beat the Romans.
What we expected.
We beat the Romans.
Wasn't quite what we expected.
Good boy. Nice one. Well done, darling.
Oh, ear kisses all round.
Absolutely.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
What did that teach us?
How do you feel about that?
Did you?
It's a lot harder than it looks.
It's a lot. It's much tougher than you think it's going to be. So
Communication is everything.
yeah, should
He
have been more
didn't listen to anything you said.
Well, you
were
used your
telling you what
initiative,
to
which we
think.
told you you should do anyway.
So that worked.
I think we used our cavalry to good advantage, although not
The
quite in
cavalry-
not quite in the way we had planned, but it worked.
It worked.
Aidan, how do you think it went?
I think it went very well. We won.
Well, yeah, but you had moments of concern. You didn't quite know what was going on.
Well, I didn't, yes. I felt that we could have been communicated with a touch better.
A good lieutenant always uses their initiative as well, you see.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And you did, we told you to.
I saved one elephant, he ran away as well.
Would you like to know what our experts thought of how you did?
Absolutely.
Not very well, I don't think.
We're going to tell you anyway. Here they come, Mike and Eric.
Did fantastic. Very good. It really was good. Really was
Terrific
good.
victory. What do you think, boys?
Yeah, really. I mean, right from the start, everything from your information gathering, your assessment of the terrain, your battle plan. I mean, you identified all the key things. You identified Hannibal has got lots of different types of troops. We need to use these different things differently.
And they related it to the terrain as well. You
Absolutely.
identified that big, wide open space. You saw that you wanted to use cavalry in a certain way in that space. You sorted your battle space out very well, and you related it to the way you were going to shape the battle space with your own troops.
Whose idea was the ambush?
It was Aidan's, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was Aidan. You said the word ambush first, didn't you?
That'll do.
Spot on.
They said that in the clues, didn't they? That they
terrain-
weren't expecting to be ambushed.
They were absolutely
Yeah,
not.
but you picked up on the
Yeah.
clue. That was the point of laying a clue.
You sprung the ambush a little bit early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
which is a shame.
what was the tactical effect of that? You drew off the Roman cavalry on their left flank. You got them fighting before they wanted to fight. You left the Roman left flank, the allies on the Roman left flank, twisting in the breeze. And the best thing you did was you kept your combat power concentrated. You resisted the temptation to go herring all over the field. And at the critical moment of the battle, I heard somebody shout. Who is it who shouted, "Attack them now with everything you've got"? Oh, there you go, Simon. Simon says, "Attack them with everything." Well, what did you have? You had lots and lots of combat power concentrated and ready to use at the critical moment. You had a tactical reserve. I was very glad to see that. And I was very glad to see aggression all around, because you could not afford to let this opportunity pass by to kill Romans. And you'd said that you are a tactical chess player. You are an aggressive chess player. You are a kamikaze chess player. Take everything you've got and go in and use it. That's exactly what was required, and that's exactly what all of you did. And you did it without a lot of nonsense. I didn't hear lieutenants whinging. I didn't hear lieutenants arguing the call. I saw lieutenants getting their heads down and fighting the battle that the generals needed them to fight.
But feeding back positive suggestions when you
That's
could
right.
read something in a specific area. And it was really good to see the generals standing shoulder to shoulder together.
And now it's the moment of glory for Mike and Eric. They're going to show you how it really happened. Have a look at this.
Do you want to come around here, guys? And I can get round to be Hannibal.
All right, give me my legions back.
Like you, I want to be winners. Well, the first thing that happened was the night before. Hannibal's younger brother was sent out, and he put the ambush there. Pretty much where you put it, we think. 1,000 of his elite Numidian cavalry. They were absolute crack troops. They could make their horses lie down. And 1,000 infantry, crack hand-picked men. And they were hidden. There's vegetation there. He got them hidden. The next day,
First thing in the morning, where are the Romans? The Romans have been on the march. They're in a Roman marching fortress. They're all tucked up in their beds behind palisades and sentries. They feel safe, napping quietly. And what does Hannibal do to get them out to fight.
He sends yet more of his elite Numidian cavalry. They go crashing and splashing across the river, and they taunt them. They don't have to engage. They're javelin men. They throw javelins from their horses. So they taunt them and lure them. They can't resist it. We draw them. We retreat. We taunt them and tease them back across the river. Come on, Rome.
So the Romans are going to fight now. They've been woken up. They've been shaken out of their beds. They're going to come out here, and they're going to fight.
We start moving forward. What both sides do is they throw out their skirmishers. It's a classic thing with ancient warfare. You get skirmishers, and they kind of keep each other busy, creating a screen while we both do our deployments. We put our cavalry on either wing, and we guard our flanks with our elephants. These chaps pretty much cancel each other out and retire back.
Retire back onto the flanks, and the Romans cross the river, and they're going to do that in their ranks, and who cares how they do it. They come up to this side of the river. They've got a large block of legionary infantry in the center.
We come up towards them.
To either side of each legion, they have their wings of allies, and then they have their pretty much crap Roman horse out on their flanks.
Can I borrow your rake?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, because what we then do is we use both our cavalry simultaneously to come around the wing and crash into their cavalry there. Simultaneously, our main line of infantry are coming in to the Romans.
I felt you needed applause there. Excellent.
Feel free anytime you need. Okay.
It's all going very pear-shaped for most of the Roman army, except those 4 legions, legions 1, 2, 3, and 4, are going to push right through the center of Hannibal's army. They're going to remain in close order, their heads held high, their banners carried before them, march right through Hannibal's army.
Our elephants are sitting on these guys, stopping them turning around. They're stomping them down, closing them down, and tarantara, at the right moment, here come the ambush. Surprise, gotcha.
At this point, the Roman heavy foot decides that this is a battle they want no more part of. Retaining their order, they march to the nearest Roman fortification and hunker down to fight another day. And what's left on the field is a massacre. And it is a sad, sad day for Rome.
That's how it was done. What do you think? You did it better?
Yeah.
We did it differently.
An interesting difference is that you guys killed a whole lot of Romans, and it could be that you'd have killed enough Romans to end the war early.
You were all absolutely marvellous.
Yeah, you really were.
Champagne and flowers back in the dressing rooms. And if you've proved one thing, you can do improv. Well done. Do you bow now? Do you bow as that works? Well done, well done. That was excellent. Nice victory.
At the real Battle of Trebia, Sempronius Longus survived and returned to Rome claiming he had in fact defeated Hannibal. And Hannibal himself continued an extraordinary military career, pushing the Roman Republic to the very brink of destruction. It took Rome 15 years to master the tactics that would finally bring them victory over Hannibal.
A new series of 7 wonders of the industrial world waged.